Skyblock is fundamentally a game about a ton of grinding, throwing yourselves to the wolves for thousands of hours to maybe, possibly get something that's actually useful. Items aren't just handed out to the weak, you need to dedicate a ton of time to reach the endgame. So imagine my shock when I logged into the Foraging update for the first time, and it only took a couple hours of grinding to get the best axe in the game. Oh yeah, baby, Skyblock's back. In order to actually get the best axe in the game, the Figstone Splitter, I needed to head to Galatea, but the actual way to get there is blocked by a quest line that's built in for the park. The park has been converted back into 5 different islands, and all of these islands are now in 1.21. But the quests aren't really that hard. There's a bunch of NPCs everywhere, and they're like, hey, Derailious, I need you to get me some wood. And you run around the island, and you get them some wood. It's kind of funny that they can't do it themselves, but the quests don't really take that long. You literally just chop down trees for like 5 minutes, and boom, you can go to the next island. When you actually make it to Galatea, the first thing you may notice, other than the mobs jumping around randomly, is Hina, who basically just tells you about her new chapter system, which is basically a tutorial for the game. Now, I kind of wish something like this existed pretty much everywhere, because it is very well set up, but that's not all you get on Galatea. There's a new skill, hunting, and you have to go to the legally distinct David Hunter Burrow in order to start it. He basically directs you all around the island. You get the idea at this point. You do certain hunting things, and then you can take the mobs that you extract the shards from, and you get buffs for doing so. It's not as convoluted as it looks, even though there is a ridiculous amount of these things in the game. It's pretty fun, I'm going to be honest. You just have to believe me. It's actually kind of enjoyable. It just looks kind of crazy. So in order to get the actual Figstone Splitter, which is the axe I'm trying to make, I'm going to need a lot of fig logs. Notably, I'm going to get 4 fig stone, which costs about 102,000 total fig logs. But Derailious, I hear you cry in the distance. How can you possibly get that many logs while only breaking one at a time like everything else in this game? Hush now, friend. You have proven yourself to be the lion, while I am the smiling monkey. You can now break multiple logs in this game with Sweep, a new introduced mechanic alongside the Foraging update. Basically, trees have toughness, and the more sweep you have, the more you can break. You also get tree gifts every time you chop down a tree, which is pretty nice. They basically allow you to upgrade your legally distinct Heart of the Forest much faster than you otherwise would be able to. Aside from the tree gifts themselves, another great way to level your Heart of the Forest is with Agatha's contests. Basically, they run every single day on the island, and doing anything on the island gets you points. It's really easy to rack up a pretty great score here, notably if you run around the top layer, for example, and you're just breaking a ton of the berries. It's like 9 points for every single one you break. You can just run around like a lunatic and get a ridiculous amount of them. Also, whenever you're running around here and like breaking the berries, there's a small chance that a small little monster will pop out called a Beeries, and it's pretty awesome because when you suck in that Beeries with the net, you get 30 points, which is absolutely ridiculous. And I feel like that's completely reasonable because if I'm going to wipe out an entire ecosystem, I may as well be compensated accordingly. I'm gonna be honest. I tabbed out for a minute, and I'm stuck on the floor. I don't know how this... Can anyone help? Alright, now that I'm free, I get to explain the wonderful process of leveling up my Heart of the Forest. So first, I have to chop down trees like a maniac for 30 minutes, and then boom, I get the level up. It's not really that bad. Honestly, the progression in early game foraging is really simple, and it's something that I love about this update. I miss the old days in Skyblock when you used to be able to sit down a minion and make tangible progress towards your goal pretty much every single day. Everything on Galatea just feels ridiculously rewarding so far, even on an Ironman profile like this one, and it makes the whole experience just so much better. It was at this point that I remembered that I haven't done my mining dailies in a while, and oh boy, I was not ready for how much better early game foraging is compared to literally every other skill in this game. A pretty small and notable quality of life change they made whenever they made Galatea was that you're able to warp there pretty much for free without issue. There is no warp to the Dwarven mines given to you upon reaching the Dwarven mines for the first time, so if you want to get to the island, good luck buddy, you're going to have to either use a visit to somebody else with a portal hub, or you're going to have to trek across the islands yourself. Secondly, Heart of the Mountain progression just feels so much slower. You get the vast majority of your experience through commissions that involve you mining in certain areas or doing specific events, and the events are fun and the mining's not that bad, but you get a very significant daily bonus for the first few commissions every day, and much less XP past that point. If only we had a system already in place that allowed us to get consistent rewards for doing a skills activity. If only. Moving through the mining early game feels like a pretty big slog, with the major goal of making it to the Crystal Hollows, which you need Tier 4 Heart of the Mountain for. And foraging is smooth sailing, pretty much getting to Tier 4 by just chopping down trees. After completing all of the mining dailies, I got Heart of the Mountain 3 though, which is nice, and I ended up getting the Technoblade pickaxe ability, which is pretty great. Just allows me to blow a hole in a wall right there, and boom, I get a ridiculous amount of mithril mined, which is way, way nicer. I also wanted to use this break to participate in a raffle, and I'll let you see how that went. After that absolutely wonderful experience, I decided to pick up a warp to the forge by crafting it in the forge. I really do recommend this for early game players though. It is a very nice ability to be able to just go here whenever you want. I kind of wish it was easier to get to the Dwarven mines in the first place, kind of like what they did with Galatea, but this is a good secondary option, and I really do recommend it. It's going to make my teleporting experience way better. Now that my dailies are done, it's back to Galatea to get the Figstone Splitter. And while 102,000 logs may seem like a lot, it's really just a warm-up compared to pretty much everything else I'm going to have to do on this profile. And I have a lot of plans. Probably not very many of them are going to come to fruition, though. My biggest at the moment is related to my wonderful girlfriend, Jade. I want to be able to get her a Jade Dragon, because foraging is the only thing she really enjoys in Skyblock, and if I don't get her this item, she is not going to play on this profile very much. So that's what's going to need to happen. It's going to require a lot of coins, Figstone, and Mancores, but we'll make it work. Anyway, after a little while longer, I ended up finishing the grind. Here we are, we got Fig. Boom. And then we go here. Boom. There's 4 Figstone. We take the axe here. There we go. The best axe in the game. Only took a couple hours, but there it is. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. What an absolute W. You know, this didn't actually take a crazy amount of work to get. Like, it's relatively early game, but it still feels so good to get this item, man. It feels so nice. I'm gonna be honest, the progression on this island has felt just so good. From start to finish, it's just been fast, it's been smooth. And I hope in the future they continue to pump out stuff like this, because, you know what, it's been worth getting trapped in trees just to get this item. Well, I'm glad that grind's over. Now I have an axe that'll last me a lifetime. And I've made so much progress on Henish chapters, too. Wait. What's this? Thousands of sweep? Thousands? What do you mean, thousands of sweep? I hope you enjoyed my attempt at a very different style of video, meant to pay a bit of homage to the way Technoblade used to post Skyblock content. I'll likely be continuing this sort of series on the channel if people are interested, so if you are, make sure to like, subscribe, use code RAIL on the Hypixel store for 5% off your order. Also make sure to subscribe to Jade and check out our streams. Look to the future, fellas. I'll see you then.